Hey, welcome back to another Inktober video. I'm Mangu. Today we have prompt number 8, Star. So when I found the prompt list, I went through and thumbnailed a bunch of them to get a bit of a jump on it. I think I mentioned that before in one of the other videos. But when I got to Star, I just quickly decided to do like a singer or a pop idol. But when I went to start it, I just wasn't feeling it. I kind of wanted to do something simple, and so I thought of someone stargazing. So after testing out which copics I could use and which ones would look well together, I kind of planned out a night sky. Most of the details are in the shading ink phase, so the sketch came out super quick. I also didn't have to do a face, so that made it a lot easier. I also used the frame break idea from Exhausted yesterday to kind of frame the image and make it a little bit more interesting. And I find that it encourages the eye to move around the image and just kind of gives it a cute effect. I really like it. Almost like we're peering at him from behind some bushes or something. So back in June, I decided to draw more male characters just to try to really focus on them in particular that month. I don't really have anything against drawing guys, I just wasn't very well versed in the male anatomy. I'm not very good at it. Which is odd since most of my favorite anime characters are guys. I actually have a hard time finding wallpapers and figures because of this. Growing up, I was told that I draw like a guy, so maybe I was trying to avoid that. Maybe I thought if I drew a lot more females it would make my style more feminine, but I don't know if that actually helped. In the end, I think it hindered me because I'm only now deciding to practice drawing male anatomy. I also have a few male original characters and one fan OC that's a male as well, but I just didn't draw them because I felt I wouldn't be able to do them justice. You know, excuses. So anyway, I took it upon myself for the month of June to draw more guys, as a kind of a personal challenge. It was mostly fan art to make it easier for me since I have a hard time drawing random characters that I don't actually know. And I kind of wanted to give some love to the characters that I really liked, but had never drawn before. I didn't draw many, so afterwards I thought it might not have actually helped at all, but since then I've actually been more apt to decide halfway through a sketch that, oh, I think it's a guy for these prompts. For instance, my default body style has become a bit more on the androgynous side, like they're not really male or female looking, but just a little on the lean side. And then if I'm planning on a specific character, I will usually draw that body style. It'll tend to lean towards the character that I know that they are, but if it's a random character, they're more androgynous, and then if I decide halfway through that it's going to be male or female, I can either add or detract from like the hip or the butt area, unless, you know, maybe he has a bit of a butt on him, I don't know, it just depends on the character. But that's actually what happened here. Originally for the thumbnail that I had for the Star Pop Idol version, it was originally a female character just because I had planned to put her in a frilly skirt. And even when I decided to change it to Star, the character in the thumbnail didn't really look like male or female. I just knew that I wanted them to be dressed for colder weather, so they had a sweater and a hoodie on, and that was pretty much it. But that's kind of how it's been for all these prompts. Unless I'm planning out a specific situation, the thumbnail anatomy is pretty androgynous. I don't know if it's the thumbnail that's influencing my sketch, or my personal challenge with the June of Dudes, but it's definitely helping me draw more guys, and I like that. I ended up getting so focused on the night sky that I kind of forgot to add the hill that he's supposed to be sitting on. So maybe it's more of his perspective, like he's so focused on the night sky, the ground he's on has dropped out of his perception. So with the buzz sides to his hair, almost like a mohawk, he almost seems like he'd be a bit of a delinquent, maybe he's a bit of a rebel, or at least that's what he looks like. Many other kids tend to stay away from him, or avoid him, but he's actually very interested in anatomy, and loves staying up late watching the stars even when it's super cold out. Maybe he got a job just so he could buy this first telescope. I think this might be a little obvious to some, but since Jake Parker is a storyteller himself, the Inktober prompts are usually more story-focused. I just didn't realize that at first, but I think that's why a lot of people have a hard time getting inspiration from them. It's just one word, and it's almost quite vague. I had a hard time with some of these, but after realizing that, it became a lot easier to process, to just basically plan out the drawing as a single page in a story. Now I know there's a story behind each prompt. Some of the prompts are still difficult to develop an idea for, or even, you know, a story for, but the idea that that's what is supposed to be behind it helps out a lot. I just thought I'd share that little tidbit just in case anybody else was slow like me. I had a hard time deciding to completely shade him. It's clearly nighttime, but not shading him almost made him pop too much against the background of the dark night sky, and made me feel like he almost had a spotlight on him. I didn't want to detract from the night sky or the image on a whole, so I went with some darker shades on him too. I didn't have my neutral gray, so he's a bit darker than I would have liked, but I'm actually happy with it. I think this looks better. With the galaxy shooting star in the background looking a little bright, I like that he contrasts to it instead of being closer to the same colors. I really like the feel of this one. It's pretty calming, and I like how the character developed out of this. I think I like this character a little bit more than I would have if it had been a pop idol as well. I like pop idols, I guess, but that it's not really something that I would have really thought too much to make a little story out of the way that I did with this one. Thank you so much for watching and taking the time out of your personal life to watch me doodle up some stuff and ramble about it. I'll be uploading every day for Inktober, so be sure to head back here tomorrow if you enjoyed yourself. The prompt I will be working on will be precious. A precious prompt. Bye!